Welcome to Family Law Talk, presented by Kirk Stange of Stange Law Firm, PC. Stange Law Firm is a family law firm in the St. Louis metro area, with offices in Missouri and Illinois. Now, here's your host, Kirk Stange.
Welcome to Family Law Talk. My name is Kirk Stange, and I'm one of the managing partners of Stange Law Firm, which is a family law firm with offices in Missouri and Illinois in the St. Louis metro area. Well, welcome today to Family Law Talk with Stange Law Firm. We've got an interesting topic. The title is, Do You Want a Pit Bull Divorce Attorney? This is an interesting topic, again, based on an article from our webpage, familylawheadquarters.com. We'll get to that here in just a second, but before we begin, I'll state, as I always do, that the choice of a lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements, and that the information you obtain today in this episode is general in nature, and it may not apply to specific factual or legal circumstance. Therefore, if you require specific legal advice, you should definitely consult and hire an attorney who's competent and licensed to practice law in your jurisdiction. All right, well, welcome today to Family Law Talk with Stange Law Firm. Again, very interesting topic, which is, do you want a pit bull divorce attorney? The focus of this article comes from, lots of phone calls through the years from potential clients who sort of express these sentiments. What they say they want is an aggressive divorce attorney. The term pit bull gets used quite a bit. One of my favorite movies is Jerry Maguire, and I'll never forget the scene from that movie where Cuba Gooding Jr. is asking Tom Cruise, show me the money, Jerry, show me the money. And I've had multiple instances through the years, and I know it's happened with other attorneys at my firm where a client is calling and they will say, Kirk, are you a pit bull divorce attorney? Come in and see if you're a pit bull. That's what I'm looking to hire, a pit bull and nothing less than that. On the flip end, sometimes we get people that want attorneys who are just settlers, and they're looking for somebody to keep it cheap and get the case settled. But we have a good chunk of people calling in here, and this whole idea of a pit bull divorce attorney is just something they want. It's been something they've been programmed to think that they need, and it's just popular out there. And I would guess, I haven't done any data research, that if a poll was taken of the folks out there in terms of qualities that they were looking for in a divorce or family law attorney, a pit bull or an aggressive divorce attorney would be right up at the top of the list for a lot of people in terms of what they're looking for. So I wanted to talk about that topic in more detail, because I think it's a really interesting one and a common one. And again, as a follow-up to the episode today, you can go to familylawheadquarters.com and you can look at the article that we posted on July 15th, 2014, which is Why You Don't Want a Pit Bull Family Law Attorney. So you can read that as a follow-up. But let me just state this, versus a pit bull, what we had listed was 3 traits, which we thought were really more accurate in terms of what most folks out there really need and really want if they really think about it in more detail. And the first trait we put is bold. A bold attorney can do lots of great things for a client. A bold attorney is not afraid. A bold attorney is going to advocate for their client. A bold attorney is going to be confident. A bold attorney isn't necessarily worried about being popular with the other attorney or at the courthouse. In other words, they're willing to work hard for their clients. They're willing to put themselves out there and advocate zealously for their clients. And so, the term bold, I think, is a great word in terms of a trait that a client should want to look for in an attorney. A bold attorney will file difficult motions. A bold attorney is not afraid to do a trial. A bold attorney knows that sometimes trial is better than settlement. On the other hand, a bold attorney also knows sometimes settlement is better than trial. And that's why, I think this word bold is so much better than aggressive or pit bull, because pit bull, it's attack and it's attack only. And it's, in other words, it's just one approach to handling a case. And that approach of being a pit bull or aggressive all the time, that is just not going to work in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, in fact, it might backfire. And here's some ways it can backfire. Pit bull attorney oftentimes can cost a client a lot of money. There might be a reasonable settlement that could be brokered that would make both parties happy, but a pit bull attorney isn't going to be looking for that. They're pit bull. Sometimes pit bull attorneys come off so aggressive, almost so hostile, that there can be a tendency for people to tune them out. In other words, a judge, when confronted with the pit bull divorce attorney, that pit bull attorney might just lose credibility with that judge or the court or the guardian ad litem because the whole perspective is aggressive, when sometimes persuasiveness in a bold way can actually be much more effective. And so, take a custody case, for example, as well, which is an example we put in the article. When judges are looking at in terms of who to give custody to kids to, what they're looking for in a lot of cases, I'd say most cases, is kind of this reasonableness, this kind of steadiness, kind of this even-keeled approach to life and parenting. Not a lot of ups, not a lot of downs, but just kind of steady, rock-solid parenting. And a pit bull attorney can oftentimes give the court the impression that that's not what this particular parent is, because they chose this pit bull aggressive attorney. So I'd say bold is a much better word in terms of what folks want to be looking for. I even think aggressive is something you want to be very careful with. Being aggressive as well, it kind of goes in line with pit bull, and I think it can rub a lot of people the wrong way. So bold, confident, all good traits, pit bull, aggressive. I'm not so sure that's the right approach in most cases. So, key number one, we said, is a bold attorney is the way to go, not a pit bull or aggressive attorney. And then we list two other qualities of an attorney that we think, are good traits in most cases. And I think the second one is preparation, which is obviously you want an attorney who's prepared for court. You want an attorney who shows up with charts and graphs and other supporting data. You want them to have exhibit books. You want them to have questions outlined if a deposition was needed. You want that deposition done. I mean, you want your attorney put together, not just in an aesthetic sense. And we mentioned that in our article. You want an attorney who looks good, who's dressed for success, but I mean, beyond that kind of cover of a book deal with the attorney looking good, I mean, behind the scenes, you want that attorney prepared. You want them knowing the facts of your case, the kids' names, the dates of marriage, where the assets are at. Prepared is just a critical key. And again, a pit bull divorce attorney isn't necessarily prepared. A pit bull attorney oftentimes is just working from the standpoint of being aggressive, but being prepared, knowing the facts, having the information, all of that is what can impress a judge a heck of a lot more than aggressiveness. So preparation is the second key. And then the third key that we put for good family law attorneys out there is pragmatism. In other words, you want an attorney who's very skilled at settling cases, but you want an attorney who's skilled at trying them as well. And I alluded to this earlier, but there's some cases that, frankly, they make sense to settle. Sometimes a settlement proposal comes, and if the settlement isn't reached, it might be that the client gets a worse result at trial. And in those cases, if the settlement proposal is better than what might happen at trial, those are the cases that make sense to settle in most instances. In other cases, settlement offers come, and a pragmatic attorney knows that if they try the case, there's a good chance they'll be able to get a better result for the client. And obviously, in a case like that, it makes sense to probably try the case if the client can obtain a better result by going through a trial. Because at the end of the day, I know this to be true in doing countless family law cases that, most folks, in the short term, maybe they just want the case done. But in the long term, they've got to live with the consequences of that case. And so to most folks, the way they're going to analyze the outcome of the case is a year or 5 years or 10 years later or 20 years later, and a client wants to look back on it and not have regrets. And so a pragmatic attorney knows in some cases settlement makes more sense. In some cases as well, maybe you could try the case and try to get a better result, but practically speaking, maybe there's not a lot of ceiling above that settlement offer. And in fact, maybe there's a little bit of ceiling below that, which I call the margin of error. And so you're kind of in this spot where if you tried it, are really not going to get much better, really not going to get a whole lot worse. You're kind of in that margin of error where it could maybe move a little bit either way, but does it make sense to spend all the attorney fees and the emotional energy to try the case when the result might not vary that much? Again, a pragmatic attorney is going to know that, and a pragmatic attorney, like I said, isn't afraid to settle when the situation calls for settling, and they're not afraid to try the case when, in fact, the situation calls for trying the case. So, again, those are really the three traits that, according to the article we talked about, that make the most sense for a client to look for. Again, a bold attorney, a prepared attorney, and a pragmatic attorney. Three things that clients seeking a family law attorney ought to look for in their attorney. While a pit bull might sound great on the surface, a pit bull kind of approach is a one-size-fit-all approach of just being aggressive, and in most cases, I don't know that that's the best approach for the folks out there. So that's the topic. Hope you all found it interesting. Again, as a follow-up to the episode today, you can go to familylawheadquarters.com, and you can read the article that we posted on that webpage on July 15, 2014, titled Why You Don't Want a Pit Bull Family Law Attorney. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next exciting episode on Family Law Talk with Stange Law Firm. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Family Law Talk with Kirk Stange. Visit StangeLawFirm.com for more about today's topic, or to put Stange Law Firm to work for your family today.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. You could do a classic herb-roasted turkey or spice it up and make turkey tacos. Serve up a go-to shrimp cocktail or use Simple Truth wild-caught shrimp for your first Cajun risotto. Make creamy mac and cheese or a spinach artichoke fondue from our selection of Murray's cheese. No matter how you shop, Kroger has all the freshest ingredients to embrace all your holiday traditions. Kroger, fresh for everyone.